Так, ну що, поїхали? Да, можна починати? Так, ну що, добрий вечір, любі друзі. Так, мене звати Михайло Chuba. Я працюю в Salesforce вже 8 років, Director of Global Business Operations for Trailhead and now I think Salesforce platform. So I don't know if you guys know Salesforce. Ой, блин. На якому языку вам легче? Не на русском, ну, на английском. Но я делал на русском, тоже и у меня такой суржик получается, вот, так что я... Да, на английском все розуміють? Розумію, понимаю, understand? Дуже добре, да. Then it's going to be easier for me and hopefully better for you. Якщо у вас якісь питання, перебувайте, перекладайте, розберемось. Вот. Трошки про мене. I was born in St. Petersburg, Leningrad, I should say, at that time. I grew up in Khmelnytsky and now I live in San Francisco for the last 16 years, plus or minus. Before Salesforce, I worked at Charles Schwab. It's a financial institution, and then a lot of my management went to Salesforce when it was only 6,000 people company, and now it's 46, maybe more. I don't know. I need to come back and check. It grows pretty fast. With the Tableau acquisition, you guys familiar with Tableau? Yeah. Good. Good for you. I'm planning to get certified in Tableau next month. So hopefully, hopefully it's going to be very good. So today, I think we have this presentation that I'm going to do, which is the same presentation as Mark Benioff gives at the Dreamforce. And at the beginning, you know, the opening about our values, vision, products, highlights, customer success, and things like that. And then Max will talk about MuleSoft, which is the acquisition that we made last year. And it was a very strategic acquisition for us, and hopefully you will enjoy it as well. Ой, Макс, поехали. Next slide. Well, forward-looking statement. We need to always, according to our legal department, say that because some of the things that we're going to be talking about are going to be, will have future-looking statements. So we use it to, like, hey, make your purchasing decisions based on the current products, not on our vision in the future, which could be included in the presentation. And next. We always start with saying thank you. Thank you to our customers, thank you to our partners, thank you to our community, thank you to all of the Trailblazers, because without you, we wouldn't be successful. You guys are probably familiar with the SaaS model, right? Software as a service. Therefore, if our clients are not successful, they're not going to pay the subscription, and we're not going to be successful, right? So, thank you very much. And you know, I never like. It took me a while to understand that slide, but I think recently I had an epiphany moment, and I realized when I was listening to Mark when he says it, when it comes from heart, it's real. You know, if you say thank you, just you say thank you, as this, but this comes from heart. So. Next. Okay, and coffee will kick in 5 minutes, so I'll be a little bit more energized. Right, so Mark went to World Economic Forum last year in Davos, and they all talked about the fourth industrial revolution. You probably heard about it, the world of connected devices, IoT, artificial intelligence, big data. And in order to succeed in this fourth industrial revolution, you need to шагать в ногу со временем, да? Okay. I will speak on the language that comes first in my head. Well, of course, it started all with steam, then electricity, and then computing, and now it's connectivity, right? And our mission is to help all of the companies to succeed in the fourth industrial revolution. Right. Next. This one, Mark usually extends a little bit, talks about some nuances. I like Einstein over here in the corner, looking looking at us and looking up and thinking, and you know. But let's go to the next slide. Okay, customer success platform. So hopefully you guys are familiar with all of this, or at least some of it. But we started as a sales automation tool, right? 20 years ago or so. And Mark worked at Oracle. He was very good friends with Larry, and he came to him. Well, according to his book, something behind the cloud, or what it's called. But according to his book, he came to Larry and he's like, "Oh, let's do it." And Larry said, "Oh, it's too futuristic. It's too early." So he pretty much quit, took Parker Harris with him, and started his own company. Larry invested in him, by the way. And now it's the fastest fastest growth software company in the world. It is the most innovative company in the world, and all of that good things that I will talk a little bit more later. But we started with sales, then we adapted that product and service, then we bought Exact Target, and it became the Marketing Cloud. Then we bought Demandware, it became e-commerce cloud. This is Heroku, you probably are familiar with it as well, right? Then platform and ecosystem, integration, and we also Max will talk more about it. Analytics, so we had Einstein, now we bought Tableau, and it's as I said, I'm gonna get a certification in November, a week before Dreamforce. There was a Tableau conference in Vegas, so I signed up for the intermediate boot camp and for certification, so you actually need to start studying already. I'm behind, but I'm joking at work right now because most of my job right now is evolved, like part of my job is evolved around analytics for Trailhead, right? And I think in the future it's going to be Salesforce platform in general, since Sarah got promoted to be a GM for Trailhead as well, like Sarah Franklin. You guys all familiar with Sarah Franklin? She's the leader of Trailhead, and now she's promoted to be a GM for Trailhead as well as Salesforce platform. So, so what I'm doing analytics. Part of my job is doing analytics for Trailhead. So badges, super badges, certifications, and all of that good stuff. That's me and my team does. And and I'm joking that I wanna automate my job and go on unlimited PTO or VTO, because in Salesforce we have unlimited VTO. I don't know if you've heard about it. Well, you have to, as long as you do your job. Now you can take as much time as you want for vacation and volunteer work. And actually, the reason I'm here is because Sarah Franklin usually goes to Africa for volunteering, and then everybody goes everywhere. And I was thinking where I can make the most impact, and I decided to come to Ukraine. And well, my initial goal was to come here and visit my friends, family, and then I looked at the data, and I saw that Ukrainian community, Trailblazer communities, growing fast. So I wrote Sarah like this email, and she just responded with 2 thumbs up. So I'm like, okay, go. And I went. But going back to data, so hopefully I will automate my job and will be able to come here more often. We'll see. I wanted to come and see and hear, and so far I really like it. Now industries. So 5 years ago or so, we started building industries, adapting our products to industries. So health, cloud, financial cloud, and things like that. Communities, you probably know that. And so enablement, right? So this is under here. There is Trailhead for the Salesforce University and other enablement tools that we have. Productivity. You guys familiar with Quip? Yeah. Okay, good. So we bought Quip 2 years ago, and an interesting thing. So Sarah reports to Brett Taylor, who actually was the CEO of Quip that we bought, and he reports to Mark Benioff, right? And he used to be a product manager for Google Maps. Then he went to Facebook. He was the chief product officer there. He actually went to Congress when there was the whole data issues before Mark Zuckerberg was there. So after that, he left. He started his own company, Quip. We bought him, and now he's one of our top leaders. And then, so that's pretty much it. Max, давай дальше, что там? Okay. This is like very interesting, and it's one of the Mark's favorite sayings, doing well by doing good. Everybody understands what it means. So the way I interpret it is if you're doing something to help someone do something, to help someone, you will do well as well. So it's like doing well by doing good. Right, and this is his mantra. This is something that I really respect, and he contributes a lot of resources to doing good, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But you can see the growth, right? So last year it was 13 billion revenue, and you can see like when I started, we were growing about 25%. Now I think we're growing revenue year over year a little bit. Less, but at the company with this level, to grow at 23-24% is pretty amazing, and we're not planning to, to stop or what. And so I started. When did I started probably over here, right? So I've seen all of this, and obviously we're like always nominated for the most innovative company, like not always, but. A lot of years. I think Tesla was got the first place one of the years, and then so we share the place. But and then number one top companies that care, more best company to work for, and so I think but Mark always says thank you again here because again. Without our partners, customers, Trailblazers, employees, and everybody, we would not be able to do that. So. Next slide. Okay. This is one of the most important slides, actually, I think. And these four values, I don't think they haven't changed. Well, the last one changed a little bit the name, but it meant the same. But these are our top four company values, and we live and breathe them, right? So when I started 6 years ago, sorry, 8 years ago, time flies. Even in US, Mark had to convince people that cloud is the future. Software in the cloud is the future. And now he doesn't talk about it in US, right? In Europe, he still talks about it because there is still, I remember a couple of years ago, people from Germany MBA program came, and they asked me all of these questions. I was like, okay, I don't know. I'm not a technical guy, I am a finance guy, right? I started, by the way, first 4 years I worked in corporate finance, and then I switched to Salesforce University, and then it's kind of merged with Trailhead, right? So I was like, I don't know, but and it's not my job to convince you guys, but they were like still writing down notes in their notebooks, right? So I think it was 2 years ago, so hopefully it changed. But now, in America, if you're not software in the cloud, if you're on premise, you get zero valuation, right? So he saw it 20 years ago, right? And I think he knows where the world is going. So I trust him too. I should say that. And it's not if you think about it. He talks about it with passion. I'm a little bit low on energy, so but that's how we think, I should say. Now, customer success, I think I already talked about it, right? Without success of our customers, we will not be successful, right? Innovation, that's in core of everything we do, right? Because the world changes very quickly. I also sometimes joke that, when I used to work in a financial institution, uh, from idea to implementation, it would probably take a year, if not more, right? But at Salesforce, Mark wakes up with a great idea, and by the end of the day, it's implemented. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but that's how it works. With the current world of innovation, artificial intelligence, fast changes, it's important to keep innovating. Every half a year, something like when I started there, the first 2 3 years, I thought I'm gonna scale lost it. Yeah? It was hard to just right, but now I cannot stop. Honestly, so it is in core. And then equality, I will talk about it a little bit more. But if you guys haven't seen, I would highly suggest you to watch the Dreamforce 2018 keynote. There is 30 minutes with only Mark, and there is an extended an hour and a half or something like that, right? Where you can see and hear and understand, but equality, what he means about equality, he started to talk about inclusive capitalism. Are you familiar with this term, inclusive capitalism? So the way he puts it, it's again, doing well by doing good, but we need to bring everybody in the fourth industrial revolution. We need to make everybody successful, and we don't leave anybody behind, right? And in this equality or altruism and all of these things, actually depended on that value. All right, Max, next. Yeah. So business is the greatest platform for change. It's actually the name of his book, one of his book. Right? If you have time, think about it. But that goes along with inclusive capitalism. He's saying like, I don't know, if it's not this, then I don't know. What can change the world, right? And we invest a lot in public education. Every Salesforce executive adopted a school. So I, for example, every 2 weeks go to Auckland Public School and like have to do something. Last time I was like, I don't know, fixing football ворота. I'm sure. Well, once I was helping. Now I think we want to implement Salesforce for them to automate all of their paperwork because like there is a lot of paper. One time I was like putting all this paper, so I was like, okay, this is the last time I'm doing it. Let's change it. Equality for equal pay for equal work. So when I started 8 years ago, I worked in finance department, and this is when we did the analytics and realized that women making less than men for the same work, right? And we did the whole analysis, and then we increased salaries of women to be on the same level. And there is equality, there is more of it, but I think that's one of the things that we did, and then it's impacted the whole industry, and a lot of companies sort of like doing the same. And then, there is a story, it's like an anecdote, but I'm pretty sure it's true because Mark is a funny guy. Once he walked into a meeting with like 12 executives and there was no woman. So he said like, okay, next time when I come here, make sure that we have at least 20-30% women, and he walked out, right? So that's kind of key things. And like if you think about like, I had really great female leaders in my life, which I really thankful to. So I think he understands it, and and he's trying to sort of spread the word. Equality for every human being. So obviously we are headquartered in San Francisco. And there is LGBTQ community, and there is so he is really supportive. And I remember in one of the states there was something with legislation, so he came there and then he lobbied and he wanted to take all of his employees, relocate to San Francisco, something like that. So he's big about that too. Equal opportunities. So obviously it's related to minorities, all of the minorities. Yeah, we were like giving work. Like on my team, I have 2 year up student interns, which actually it's a program run by Year Up organization where we, find those smart young guys from underrepresented communities that have passion and want to do something, and we give them opportunities, train them, show them what's possible, and I really like them. They're like eager beavers, They're like very curious and they're very hardworking, and they try to also do well by doing good. So it's important, and then obviously environment, right? So I think 5 years ago we started internal like environment fair where everybody comes and learns about the innovative technology. Like Mark has the Ocean Foundation. Mark has like this. He like really cares about the environment because like in that speech in 2018, it was very emotional. The keynote where he's saying, according to IDC, in 2050 we'll have more plastic in the ocean than fish. Are you okay with this? I'm not. Funny guy. So, and I went to one of these fairs to learn about the solar panels. And actually, my dad is an engineer, so we actually put solar panels on his house. And so now he has свою электростанцию, свою заправку, в общем, все дома. And it's cheaper, and it's eco-friendly. And by the way, starting 2020, it's a law in California that all new residential buildings must have solar panels. So you cannot get a permit to build a house if it doesn't include solar panels. Right? So California is big on it. It's also good location, altitude, so it's very good. Tesla is obviously there. Elon Musk is, he knows, a great guy, by the way. He wants to go to Mars. Oh, good for him. Yeah. And then Salesforce towers. So all of our electricity, I think, in all of the towers in the world come from solar. So we have like plantations in different locations. They bring the solar into the grid, and we use that. And then there's a black water system, so the service water is actually recycled and cleaned and reused. Yeah, we'll become this. All right, Max, let's go on. The show must go on. Putting our values in action. Yeah. So 111 model. 111 model, have you heard about it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, good. So 111 model is something that actually was adopted by a lot of Silicon Valley companies, right? Where we dedicate 1% of our time, 1% of our equity, and 1% of our products to non-profit organizations, right? So, he came out with this, and he encourages people to do the same. Again. Doing well by doing good and inclusive capitalism and things like that. We don't leave anybody behind, so it goes along that way. Okay, next. Trailblazers. So this is a slide about you, right? Trailblazers, customers, innovators, community shapers, and all of this. So he talks about it, and thanks again. Things like that. I think that the Cody the Bear is my favorite one because Misha's over there. Even though I'm not the developer, I think we're gonna come up with a new character for analytics, for Tableau and things like that. So once the acquisition is finalized in Europe, right, you will see. It should be pretty cool. Next. Maybe that one will be my favorite. Yeah, it's sort of like the same thing. He talks about all of the parts of our ecosystem, and thanks everybody. Mark's next. Oh. This is my slide. So this is some of the data that I report on. I'm pretty excited about it. Right. I think we have more than that now, but you can see this. Actually here, let me talk a little bit more about Sarah Franklin. have you ever seen her what is called fire chart with Sarah Franklin on YouTube? If not, watch it. It's a 1 hour video, and I think I watched it like 3 times already. It's so good, right? But she talks about her passion and how the trailhead. Посміхніться, прихованою камерою. Hold on. How she started, right? So she actually grew up, I think, in a single mom family, and her mom was a teacher. So she had humble beginnings, and then when she went to a counselor before going to college, she's like, okay, which job makes the most money? And they told her engineering. So she went to engineering, right? Something like that, right? And then she graduated, and then she worked in Lockheed Martin. She bunny suits, semiconductors and all of that stuff. But every time she comes home, she walks with her mom to the store, and it takes her an hour and a half to do it because everybody knows her. Everybody comes to her and says, Mrs. I forgot her name, but you changed my life. And she said, what do I do? So she came back, and she decided to dedicate her life to education, right? So she met with Ivanka Trump a couple of months ago. She's trying to lobby to change American education system, right? Because right now, what? You go to university for 4 years, you use the books that were written 2, 3, 4 years ago, in the best case scenario, maybe later, and then you graduate after, and you're already behind in knowledge, right? Because of the current environment, everything changed. You need to adapt, so you need to have access to all of this. You don't want to go to 4 years to the same place. Well, at least this is her dream. She's a dreamer too. So, but that's what she's trying to do, right? And that's why Trailhead, I think, became so successful, right? Because it provides a free educational platform. Learn not only about Salesforce, but also about other innovative technology. You can learn about IoT, artificial intelligence, blockchain, big data. There is even a course that I actually like. That's the one that I really paid attention to. Was MBA and Salesforce products. I forgot what it's called, but it's sort of like a combination of business, how Salesforce is used for business and like that. So this is very interesting. If you have a chance. Actually, I forgot to ask. Can I ask you guys how many of you are admins or admins or developers here? And how many of you are business people? Good. Respect, man.
I started as salesman.
Double respect. Yeah, because I like to joke, I'm not a technical guy, я так побелить, покрасить. Выучил пару слов, выхожу, там разговариваю. В принципе, там все легко, да, сейчас покликал, там мобильную аппликацию сделал, drag and drop, и все такое. И в будущем это все будет легче и проще, правильно? То есть...
Einstein, надо... Einstein, надо делать аппликацию.
Да, exactly, boom! Так что вот такие вот дела. Let me stop actually here and see if you guys have any questions about what I said before. И можно на русском, на любом, на украинском, да. На славянских языках я всех понимаю. И на английском. Остальные пока не выучил. Есть вопросы? Нету?
Які плани дати тестові environment для продуктів, які ви купили, наприклад, для маркетингу?
Бачите, technical questions. Надо затилок почесати.
Повтори, будь ласка, питання.
Да. Що за питання ще раз, я так і не поняв.
okay, for products that you acquire, for example, marketing cloud.
Now понял, sorry. Теперь
Повтори,
понял.
будь ласка, питання. щоб-
Да, вопрос такой, для тех продуктов, которые мы недавно купили, есть ли планы делать, как они называются, environment? Тестовые environment, да?
Правильно.
Да. Не, я знаю, как они по-английски называются.
Sandbox.
Ну, да. В общем, я так скажу, про Tableau я не могу сейчас ничего говорить, у нас хороший legal department, мы пока сказали, нам пока не закончим acquisition, там ничего, ну я и сам пока ничего не знаю, вот съезжу, получу сертификацию, расскажу. Вот. Ну я думаю, что это будет. Я так спрашивал у себя в Trailhead, когда там планируем, вроде говорят, by the end of the year, maybe starting next year, we'll have some Tableau content on Trailhead, although they have a really good website as well with a lot of training content as well. I quickly looked, I liked, but I just didn't have time to study it. For MuleSoft, Макс, может немножко поговорить, наверное, про это, я не знаю. Any other products you were asking? Маркетинг нету клауда, да? Ну, я спрошу. Write me an email and I will forward it and ask. Do you guys have my email address?
Yes.
Not yet. Okay, good. Any other questions?
I will add you to our group, so
Oh,
you
Slack?
yes. You need to
Oh.
learn that as well.
Yeah. I need to go. Yeah, I lost my phone and I changed it, so I'm still like trying it out. Plus, like there's so many communications channels, like probably 20 that we use. So it's hard to keep up with with everything. Sometimes I get lost and don't respond, and then come back and oops. Any other questions?
Actually, we use Salesforce a lot to do trainings. Like training new people at we come to our company, we have like trail mix. And we use it. But then there's still a lot of what we're missing is we cannot add custom links because you can actually, but it's not we are not able to do it from just trail mix when you create it. The other thing that there is not many practical assignments. We come up with them ourselves right now. Like it would be great just to have something like more things that people do like a project.
Yeah.
Or,
How about this? In our, I can talk. There's like other topics that I talk to sometimes, but we won't have time about this. It's about, about our cloud economics, right? It's like when I work in finance, I but I forgot now. Знал, да забыл. Вот. Потом еще что? Corporate motivation, тоже я много про это знаю. Вот. У нас очень много интерного тренинга и feedback. Это очень encouraged в нашей компании. I say, I don't know if I came up with this or maybe I read it somewhere. It's like feedback is a gift, right? So please feel free to send me your feedback questions, and I will answer as much as I can on this one. But I know that it's probably like in every other company that you work in, that there's a lot of stuff that's going on, right? And we're trying to focus as much as we can on the most important things, that will bring the most value. So sometimes I ask, the higher up managers, hey, what about this? And I'm like, yeah, it's a great idea, but we don't have time and we have scarce resources, so we need to, optimize, prioritize. So it could be related to that. So it might be like you send me something and I said yes, it's on our priority list, but it's over here because we're working on trying to maybe build in the video recognition in Trailheads, so it's so you can actually do certification there. But I don't know, even that is also below. So I think, think about that way.
So I started myself wrong. So first of all, I would have to thank you and Salesforce for Trailhead because probably I don't know how many people are here from our company, but but a lot of them actually were able to study because of Trailhead, and it was so good form and a nice way of learning. So that's why that's really great tool to teach people.
Yeah, and I will say you more. So 5 years ago, before changing to Salesforce University, uh, I also had an idea of Trailhead. It wasn't well, it wasn't called Trailhead, but I was like, why do we have like content about Trailhead? Why do we have to pay for it $5,000 to go to a class? You know, it like didn't make sense. I was talking to my brother who is. Molecular and cell biology. He studied molecular and cell biology with emphasis on genetic, genomics, stem cell, and things like that. And then after he graduated, he learned develop like programming by himself. So now he works as a developer in a pharmaceutical company. Oh no, I think now he changed to consulting, but also for. Right, and I was like, dude, you have to like learn Salesforce, and so I'm still trying to convince him, but I think he likes Python and a couple of other things, and he knows that. But he's like learning about artificial intelligence and big data now, so but yeah, 5 years ago or so, I was like, I could have created, if I had enough, as much passion about it as Sarah Franklin. Right. Okay, let's go to next slide. Okay, so Salesforce economy, right? So according to IDC, I'm not familiar with these numbers very well. That's not the numbers that I provide. It's IDC, but new jobs created by 2022, 3.3 million, right? There is 10 million Trailblazers, but because obviously we grow fast, we sold a lot, so we need professionals who know how to implement it, maintain it, and innovate it, right? So that's very important for us. And then 859, a lot of billions, impact on GDP worldwide, and that's another thing that. The average tenure on the job right now in the US, I'm not sure how it's here, I think is like 2 years, right? So I like it. You don't see a lot of people who stay at one job for 8 years in the US. Everybody is changing. Like I wanted to change many times. I just was lucky enough to find something else, something interesting inside, right? And we have actually internal job fairs every year where people come and like, and like each products and each department sort of like trying to sell them because otherwise, if you don't do it, people are gonna leave. They will find some other challenge. It's a change. And another saying that I say, and I don't know if I came up with this or I found it somewhere. Change is an engine. Change is an engine of. I forgot my own saying. Change is an engine of progress, right? So that's that's what I wanted to say around that. Okay, next. This slide, Max will talk. It's about the customer 360, right? I think everybody has that problem. Like we have this problem. We have 1,000 of Salesforce instances that we use for everything, right? And then we have another 1,000 of other programs that we use for everything. And then to see the 360 of a customer, to connect like Trailhead users to the licenses to this and this and this, it's really hard. And so that's why MuleSoft is very strategic, not only for us but everybody, right? And by the way, if you don't know Max, he's a master instructor, right? So he really knows what he's talking about. And like when I was listening to his first speech in Kharkiv, like было доступно, что я даже понял. So, but he will talk more about it later. Next. It's along the same way. Okay, next. Same thing. Yeah, I mean Google, IBM, you see. IMAX. These are your slides, sort of, kind of. That's the next. Einstein analytics. So obviously, right? I saw, was it like a management meeting or something like this, where Brad Taylor had this like, you know how we have like Alexa, Google Speaker, like all of these different devices where they could talk to, right? So he built his own Einstein with like a hair. Oh, this might be secret information. Don't share it with anyone. But I want it on my desk too, so you can talk to Einstein. It's actually like a device, that speaks, and you can talk to Einstein actually, right? And obviously, it's a future. I think Mark even afraid a little bit of this because he understands the power of AI and how fast it develops, just because it's the nature of AI, it learns and it's fast, как этот снежный ком, да? Вот. И он понимает, что это future, and that it's important to pay attention to it, right? To that. And with the Tableau acquisition, I think they also have a lot of AI built in there, like regression correlation and things like that. I think during, I don't know if they announced it or they're gonna announce it at the conference, but it's known that how like my job, like I look at the data, it's like financial analytics, and like okay, see weird trends, and I start to double click, I spend a day or two figuring things out. I was like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. So supposedly soon, and that's why I'm saying that I'm going to automate my job, because soon I will wake up and Einstein is going to tell me, okay, in this country, in this region, this going on, so I don't need to like spend 2 days to do the drill down, right? So okay, so great things are coming. Next. 6 billion plus predictions per day. That I think that's like the calculation. You saw that right in the left corner, like currently, and again, it's increasing very fast. Intelligent Customer 360. It's again related to integrations. Okay, what's next, Max? Okay, so these are the 3 last slides. Where we talk about customer success, right? And if you watch the extended Dreamforce video, you will see that we customers come and со слезами на глазах говорят спасибо, да? Вот, потому что it makes them successful, And there was one video, Max, next slide. So this is the Italian guy, the CEO of, his company that he's named after himself. And in that video, if you watch the extended one, he talks like a philosopher in Italian language. So it's very interesting, but he talks about his passion, his vision, and how Salesforce helps him with that. So I would really encourage you to watch that video. And I think the last one is Marriott, obviously using our technology a lot. Yeah. And I think we also have a video. So if you have time, go and watch a lot of videos. So I would suggest to watch Dreamforce 2018, the extended version, Fire Chart with Sarah Franklin, as well as some other see which videos has the most views and watch them. That's how I rock. All right, so that's it. I think that's the last slide on this corporate pitch presentation. And by the way, everybody at the company has to get certified every year to be able to speak intelligently about our products, our values, vision, and things like that, right? So you guys, so you got certified. Yeah. So, and again, thank you. Any questions? И можно на любом языке. Oh, I like funny questions.
Do you know why Salesforce is brand so much? So that
No. Actually,
Can you please repeat the question?
Oh yeah. The question is why Salesforce uses Einstein for our AI, for our AI products. So I think it's also in his book. Maybe there's a picture of Einstein with the tongue out. that famous picture. I think he was just fascinated with him from childhood, right? So, and when this whole artificial intelligence thing, it's named it Einstein. And
I mean, is it legal?
yeah, we have a very good legal department. So trust me, it's legal. But we actually bought the character from one of the universities in US who had this script, and we bought the rights for the visual, but the name I don't think it's patented. Anybody, you can use Einstein if you want.
I can add.
Go ahead. Maybe you know a better answer.
So when you're involved in all this Einstein related topics, they always have a sign that they're in agreement with Einstein and not family, Einstein University. Yes, Einstein University or community, and it's approved and legally just use it and like 100% legal.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen this one yet.
You can take some.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You need to come to
Yeah. By the way, I sent some swag to Kharkiv, Lviv, and Kiev, but I think пока оно дойдет по морю, по суше, наверное, уже на следующий этап. Да, надеюсь. Вот. Other questions?
So, do you have any plans to come here often, or anybody from Salesforce Europe or US and so on?
I don't know yet. So this is my first time, right? So, and I also need to come back and see with Sarah being the GM manager for the Salesforce platform, right? It depends on a lot of things right now. I just need to come back, regroup, see here what's going on, and then I want to. Honestly, I want to. I feel here like at home, so I would like to, but we'll see. There is a lot of balls in the air, right?
Okay. But this time it was your initiation to come, or it was support from Salesforce?
It was my initiation that came from just looking at other people and seeing what other people do, like in Africa and here and here and here. And I think I mentioned my long email to Sarah, where she responded with 2 thumbs up, and that's it. Right, so it was my initiative, and so far everything that I wanted to do, I got support. So we'll see. And then again, as long as you're doing good, they support. Any other questions?
Can you tell us some insights about Trailhead? Like how will be developed in the future?
Well, exactly. We do have a really good legal department, so.
Again, turn off camera.
Let me see. I think the vision, obviously, goes along with Sarah's passion, to change the educational system. I don't think she knows exactly what it's gonna look like, right? But she's really passionate about it, and I'm pretty sure we'll be continuing investing into it and grow. In terms of adding new capabilities, adding new content, adding more super badges, and trying to change the world education system with it, So I think good things are coming, but I just don't know exactly when and what, but they are.
You mentioned the testing condition for this exam certification. What do you plan about that?
I don't know. Yeah, the question is about web assessor. It's a commonly asked question. Honestly, I'm not certified yet in any of the products, and hopefully will be at Tableau. And I think Tableau actually is using another platform for certification. And I think MuleSoft is probably using another one. And I don't know yet. I think the reason why we have a third party, because again, according to the legal rights, you need to have a third party that verifies that you are certified, right? because otherwise you can just like give certification to everybody. You know, if you're giving it yourself as a company, you know, people can take advantage of it. Obviously, we would not do it because trust is our number one value, right? But there is a lot of complications. I don't know. We're kind of like thinking, and again, there is other and it costs money. You know, and there is other priorities. So I don't know, honestly. Here, I'm not even holding back the answer. I just don't know. No.
Расскажи больше о вот этой сертификации по
Фу, слушай, я еще пока не знаю, я как пару видео посмотрел, вот, но ну, самое это, я так посмотрел, для меня оно выглядит как pivot tables в Excel, поэтому я сразу, о, все понятно, да, для меня с первого раза, я разберусь быстро, надо подучить, на интермедиат курс записался. Вот. Но это как бы pivot tables, visualization, artificial intelligence, all of this. There is like 4 or 5 certifications currently for Tableau. You know, there's like desktop, another one, so I'm trying to get the basic one, right? But I don't know much yet because I haven't touched it yet. Any other questions?
Can you tell nice stories about Ukraine? So people can come here and sales.
Oh yeah. I had this idea. I forgot her name, but you know the woman who always gives the developer demo. She's like our superstar. What's her name? Do you know her? Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can bring her here because she was a master instructor and now she's our front woman. You know, she's always like talking. She's like very energetic, not like me. Well, I'm usually also very energetic. I'm just like, you know, как там Миша Галустян говорил, типа мы уже неделю отдыхаем, помню только последние 3 буквы. Вот, так что вот. Ну да, я хочу и постараюсь, как бы, да, и, но опять же, мы вот в Индии implemented student programs, and another thing that I want to try to do to actually, so people can try take as an elective in like 3-unit class, да, я не знаю, как на Украине, я уже забыл. И в конце ты сертификацию получаешь, что ты не только выпускаешься с local дипломом, но и с worldwide certification. Да, мы это сделали в Индии, мы в других странах. Там у меня друг есть один в Колумбии, пытается это сделать, он с Колумбии. Вот. И так что, да, и плюс Trailhead, да, I would encourage you guys, you know, to use it as much as a spread the goodness, you know, bring in people, and I think you know you can start with this, and actually you did. You know, like I sent an email, it's like, hey guys, I'm thinking to come, and everybody's like, yeah, and then Max was like, hey, can you come to Kharkiv? I was like, oh, I don't think I can. So we did a virtual event like right 2 days ago there. So there is an interest, right? So and I'm interested. So будем посмотреть.
New runs for Trailhead.
Что?
New runs for Trailhead.
Ой, да, мы там постоянно что-то сидим, затылки чешем, там в New React, да, сейчас же есть Ranger, да, потом есть Double Ranger, вот мне нужно до конца года Double Ranger, потом. Да, мы там все постоянно что-то думаем, там придумываем, пока я уже точно не знаю what, but I think we're also thinking on how to, so like we have super badges, we have ranks, and I think you know we wanna 10 раз отмерить, 1 раз отрезать. Я думаю, мы хотим что-то уже сделать так, чтобы это уже было как бы на future и не менять хотя бы каждые пару лет. Ну хотя оно все равно поменяется. Каждые полгода все меняется. Вот, и надо как бы успевать, вот. И, ну, are you familiar with the double star ranger?
No.
Okay, so there is a double. I don't know if it's internal or external as well. Maybe it's not. But it's not. Yeah, maybe it's internal. Yeah.
People just like
Maximum rank is
do like 3, 4, 5 ranger, but
Mhm.
it's not
So Ranger is the top.
It looks like soon you will need run for 1,000 because it's almost
Yeah,
800 or so.
yeah. I think we're still trying to figure it out. Pretty much, that's the answer.
There will be a rank with 1K, but there will be like 900 to 1200.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, honestly. I don't know, but we're thinking about it.
Oh, and can you tell us like how does it work in Salesforce Tower in San Francisco? And
I mean, it's great. I like it. I've been there for 8 years, right? And when I started in finance department, it was great too. There you learn about the whole company from financial standpoint, and you understand the power of the subscription model and all of that stuff. So like I'm learning, and like you meet a lot of great people. Like the people that I worked for in finance, many of them are CFO, chief financial officers of other companies. Like the woman that I work at Charles Schwab, that actually I follow to Salesforce, now the CFO of Zendesk, right? You're familiar with Zendesk, right? And then another person is a CFO here. There, like what was her name? Sarah Fryer. Sarah Fryer. She was my SVP. She was a CFO, a CEO of Square. You guys know Square guy? And now I think she just went and became CEO of Nextdoor. It's like a community, and there is like a lot of them. So, you learn a lot. You meet a lot of great people. The company provides you a lot of opportunities for training. Obviously, we're all rangers there at least, right? And I think now we need to get to double star ranger soon. And then what else? Oh, there is a lot of things that I can talk about, but that's like a whole new presentation, about like our V2 mom. Are you familiar with Vision Valley and all of these things? And then it's interesting how we adapting to, like 5 years ago, when I started. I think when you go to management training, or maybe even 10 years ago, I think 5 years was something else, but it was like, oh, a leader needs to be strong, so people follow you, как это не показывается, да? А сейчас, последний год или два, have you heard about the Dr. Brené Brown, who dedicated all her life to pretty much this research about the power of vulnerability? Power of vulnerability. Как будь попроще, и к тебе потянутся люди, типа, along that way. Вот. И now when you go to management training, they actually don't be afraid to show the vulnerability. Be true to yourself and be true to the people around you. Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. Just make sure you get up quickly, learn from it, and move on. And so that's like another thing that they teach us right now. Be vulnerable, and you'll be fine. So and probably in 2 years it will be something else. I don't know.
So we are ran out of time. So
Okay. Good. Макс, твой выход. Ты там?
thank you.
Да.